Okay, hello. Um, Hi, I'm Hope. This is my channel, Lopey Lot, and up until this moment, or this exact moment, up until recently or now, my channel has basically just been where I share funny videos about my kids or their school performances. My daughter sings, and I liked to share those videos to YouTube because it was an easy platform for me to share it with friends and family. But my kids are grown now. I am 43 years old. My oldest daughter is in her senior year of college. She's 23. And my youngest, my son, has just graduated high school this past spring, and now he is an adult and in the working world. So, life is a little bit different now than when I started this channel, but knowing that big change was going to happen in my life where my kids are grown and they don't need me as much anymore. Don't get me wrong, they do still need me, okay? They both still live at home, but it's not quite as demanding as a mother. So I have all this extra time, and there's no more school events to go to. There's a few college things I have to go to, but no more sporting events. For years my life was that, taking care of my kids and taking them to football practice and baseball practice and basketball practice and all of the games and the tournaments, and then it was swim team and swim meets and volunteering, and I was team mom for a while, and with my daughter there was plays and choral performances, recitals, all of those fun things, but that's done. So now it's about me. I have the time and the space in my life to do some things that I want to do, to focus on things that I haven't been able to focus on in years, and do things just for the joy of it. So that's been my journey recently, is chasing joy. So my purpose for this channel moving forward, of course, I'll probably still share some family stuff and some stuff with my kids and things like that, but this channel is going to be for me and what I enjoy doing, because I've poured myself into my kids, my family, my husband, and now it's time for me to pour into myself. So that's what this channel is going to be. And one of the things that has been bringing me a whole lot of joy is actually crochet. Now, I learned to crochet, I don't even remember how old I was. I want to say I was in middle school. I had gotten into making friendship bracelets, for my friends. It was the thing in the 90s, and I was at my grandmother's house, and I was making friendship bracelets, and she says, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I showed her, and she says, "I can do that." And she pulls out this hook and this yarn, and done. So what took me hours to accomplish, she did in 30 seconds flat. And I was like, what magic is this? You have to teach me. So she taught me how to make a chain, starting with my fingers. It wasn't until I had done that for a while that she put a hook in my hand and said, "Here, let's try it this way." So that was the first thing I learned, and then her and my mother taught me the rest of the basic stitches: single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and those were the 3 basic stitches that I used for a really long time. But that's how I learned to crochet. I did a little bit of it in my 20s. I actually have one of the first like big blankets that I made. Like I had made like, you know, like little scarves or little baby blankets, but the first big crocheted blanket that I made was after my daughter was born. I think she was like 2 or 3 years old. So this blanket is like 20 years old, okay? But it's right here. We still have it. She still has it, I should say. And so I just want to share that with you. Now, when I look at this blanket, now it's pretty big. Like it's a big blanket. It was big enough to like cover her bed as like a bedspread, which is what I wanted it to be. But when I look at this blanket now, I can see like, okay, I after everything I've learned, I know I didn't use the right hook size. Okay, so my stitches, you know, my tension is a little too loose, and also like for a big blanket, the pattern is a little too lacy. Like I wish that it was a little bit dense, but like it's funny how when you look back on when you were more of a beginner, how, you know, you would have done things differently, or you can see the flaws, or not necessarily the flaws, but like how much you've learned and how much you've grown. But anyway, so it tickles me that she still has it, and it tickles me to have it. So, I don't know. I think it's cool. It's something that, again, it brings me so much joy. But over the years, I didn't have a whole lot of time to crochet. Like I did stuff here and there, you know, like I do a baby blanket for a friend or a family member. But I didn't really for years. Like I would pick it up every now and then because, you know, I was a mom. I was busy. I didn't really have time. And when I did have time, there were other things that sort of took priority. But it was a couple of years ago when my daughter, I think she was in her sophomore year of college, she said that she was really, really, she would get really cold at night in her dorm, and her comforter wasn't quite warm enough for her, so she asked me specifically if I would crochet her a new blanket to put on her bed. And I was so excited. Like so excited. Prior to that, like in the last 10 years, I think the only things that I had crocheted, I did a couple of baby blankets. I did some like crocheted pumpkins that I followed the tutorial by Melanie Ham, the late great Melanie, may she rest in peace. I'll put a link to her channel because she's actually pretty awesome. I learned a lot. Like she helped move me from a beginner to like, oh, okay, I'm getting somewhere. I'm doing the things. So I'll put a link to her channel in the description box, and specifically her pumpkin tutorial. And when I pull out my Halloween stuff here soon, I'll make a video and show you those pumpkins that I made. But anyway, I learned so much from Melanie Ham. Like I was able to build on top of what my mom and my grandma had taught me with what I found on her channel. So her channel is awesome. So if you're a crocheter or you're a beginner crocheter, go check out her channel. She passed away several years ago, but I believe her channel is still up. So, oh, what was I saying? Oh, so my daughter asked me to make a blanket. So I did that, and I'm just going to show you, just so you can see like the difference between like where I started, you know. Now granted, this thing is 20 years old. Like this is, and it's really big. It's like really big. So I'm going to set this over here. This is the blanket that I made for my daughter, what was it, 2 years ago? It's really big too, but it's, you can see it's more dense. I used the right hook size. It's also a thicker yarn. I think this is a bulky weight yarn. Is it bulky weight? Super bulky. Okay, so this was a Karen cake, chunky Karen cake in the color, what was it, jelly? Rainbow Jellies was the color of this blanket. So you can see, scooch back. She told me, she says, Mom, I want it to look like a rainbow exploded on my bed. Yes, ma'am, that's what we did. And so this blanket, it's a bobble, oh, I'm showing you the wrong side. Let's do this side. Okay. So it's a bobble stitch. I just used a bobble stitch, and it's a self-striping yarn. Give you a close-up of this bobble stitch. How cute is that? It's cute, right? Anyway, now if I were making this blanket for me, I would have done like a stripe of white in between the colors, but she didn't want any white. She just wanted all color. So that's why I did it that way. But it has been well washed and well loved for 2 years now. So as a matter of fact, I went to go hijack this blanket for this video, and she came home like right after I had grabbed it, and she's like, you're gonna give that back, right? I use that every night. And I was like, of course I'm gonna give it back. And it makes me so happy that you use this every night. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much joy it brings me. And I think it's because, like, this might sound like a really silly and stupid thing to some people, but when I was younger, my grandmother had, I had a lot of cousins, so she had a lot of grandkids, and for like Christmas, she couldn't buy, you know, big presents for all of the grandkids. She just couldn't do that. So what she did, it was just too much, you know, like maybe some people can, but it, you know, it's what it was. So what she would do is that every Christmas, every cousin, every grandkid would get a pair of those tote socks with the little grips on the bottom. So we would all get a pair of those. So we'd get socks. We would always get our Christmas socks, okay? And then each year she rotated through the grandkids, and one of us would get a crocheted blanket. When it was my turn to get a crocheted blanket, I was so excited. And I went through rotation twice before she stopped making them and then passed away. But so the first, oh, somebody's trying to call me. Okay, sorry, apologies. The first blanket she made me was, it was like a granny square, like granny squares crocheted together, but they were like big and like rectangular, if that makes sense. And it was in shades of purple because purple is one of my favorite colors. So I had a purple crochet blanket, and I loved that blanket. The second time that I rotated through, I was in middle school. Yeah, first time I was in elementary school, second time I was in middle school. And so I was all about the hunter green, and so like I had a green wall with like a green tie-dyed poster on my wall. And for me at that time, everything was about hunter green. So that time I had shades of green. So it was like a mint green with a hunter green like deal, and that one was striped. So I got a striped crocheted blanket from my grandmother, and I loved those blankets. I wish that I still had those blankets, but they got destroyed over the years, so I don't have any of the blankets my grandmother crocheted. But I think that is why this tickles me so much, is because it feels like I'm passing on a legacy. Like, was I super close with my grandmother? No, but this was something that we shared. Same with my mother. So yeah, I enjoy doing it, and it's really special. So it makes me happy when I make something and I see that somebody is enjoying it as much as I do. It's like wrapping somebody in a hug without actually hugging them. So it's like you can't be there with them, but they can wrap up in this and it's like a hug from you. So I think it's really cool, and I think it's really special. So anyway, I just want to share, I was thinking, like, I don't have documentation of like any of this, but it's such an important thing to me, and it does bring me so much joy. So this spring, I had two of my husband's cousins were pregnant and getting ready to have babies, and they were due like a month apart. And so I was like, okay, I had already made a baby blanket, and I don't have a picture of it. Again, this is why I'm like, I need to document this. I need to do something. But I didn't save a picture of the blanket that I made for his cousin when she was having her son. And I wish that I had. But anyway, so this spring, she was pregnant again, as well as her sister. So two of my husband's cousins. And they were having their baby showers like a month apart. So it was like, all right, my son was in his senior year. I didn't have a whole lot of time, but I still really wanted to crochet them blankets. So I went looking for a pattern that was like, I didn't just want to do like double crochet. Not knocking double crochet, but I wanted something that had a little bit of texture to it, but that also was pretty easy and wasn't going to be like a yarn eater. So of course I go searching for a pattern, and I stumbled across the YouTube channel Creative Grandma. Can I say that I just adore her? Okay. I knew nothing about her until I stumbled upon, it was the video tutorial of, one Skein baby blanket. Okay. Like I wanted a pattern that wasn't going to like eat a bunch of yarn. So I found this tutorial, I watched it, and I was like, oh, it's really pretty. Has a nice texture to it. It looks like it works up really quick, and it's not going to be a yarn eater. So I can make one of these for both cousins within the amount of time that I had. So after watching the tutorial, I was like, you know what? I think that I can follow this pattern. So because she said she had a written PDF pattern. So I went and I purchased the pattern. Now listen, this pattern, it was like a couple bucks for the written pattern, which to me is so worth it. So if you are looking, I'm gonna see if I can insert a photo of, I think I have pictures of one of the blankets, maybe not the other, but I'll show you the yarn that I used. Set this here. So I used for me, it ended up being more than one skein because I didn't use the same type of yarn or brand of yarn. I used Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn. And it was in the color Crushed Raspberry. So if you can see that, it's really pretty and it's really soft. So I did that one. That was what I used for one of the blankets. What did I do with the other yarn? The other yarn, it was like a variegated. It had like purples and pinks and blues, and I don't know where I put the yarn. It's not in there. Part of my yarn stash is like in my hall closet. So I'm in the process of moving all of my yarn into my home office / craft room, etc., whatever. So anyway, I'll insert a picture of one of the blankets that I made using this pattern, but I just love it. So if you are looking for a simple but beautiful pattern, you need to go check out Creative Grandma's channel and do the one Skein baby blanket because I love it. And I enjoyed making those so much that I was like, why why don't I do this more? I was done and I was like, okay, I want to make something else now. And ever since then, again, now that I have more time on my hands, I have time for myself. Ever since then, like that, I want to make things. I want to make all of the things because, you know, I've never actually, like, rarely did I ever make something for me, just for the joy of it, just for me. Like, I was usually gifting it to other people. I think the only things I ever made for myself were, like I said, the crocheted pumpkins, and I did a crocheted spider web for Halloween because I love Halloween, which I'll probably be sharing on this channel because Halloween also brings me joy. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to put a link to this pattern because it's phenomenal. Go check out her channel. She's phenomenal. Here recently, she's had her grandson on there with her, and they are just, I just love them. They're so cute. And they have awesome videos and patterns and stitches and all of the things that I love. I'm a fan. Anyway. So I've been trying to challenge myself to, you know, make things, more things, all of the things. And so this is where I'm at. I had some leftover yarn from the blanket that I made for my daughter, right? And because I'm like chomping at the bit, I'm like, I want to make something else. What I want to go buy more yarn, but I'm like, no. Let's use the yarn that you have, Hope. Like, let's be smart about it. But anyway, so I enjoyed that blanket pattern so much, and like I said, I'm going to attach a picture, that I decided to use the same stitch. It's a really, really easy repeat in this pattern. And I used the leftover yarn from our blanket, and I made a scarf. So you can actually see the stitch. Ow, I just hit my elbow. The stitch definition in this scarf. But, so yeah, I used the leftover yarn from the blanket with the stitch pattern from the baby blanket that I made for my husband's cousins. And actually, let's put it on this way. Da, 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 da. I am ready for the cold, y'all. Like, look at this. Look how cute that is. And I put little tassels at the end. And I'm really excited about it because this was just leftover yarn. So anyway, my point is that you can, whenever you do purchase a pattern from somebody, like, you're always learning new things. And I love that, because then you can take a stitch pattern or a technique that you learned from one pattern, and then you can use it for something else, like a scrap scarf that I adore. Okay. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to cover. So yeah, I'm just going to be sharing the things that I make. I'm going to do, you know, pattern reviews, yarn reviews, and really I just want to document the things that I make for myself and for others, because it's just making me happy. You know, crocheting for me it's very meditative. The repeat of the motion, you know, doing something with my hands helps to really quiet my mind. And yeah, also the cool thing that I've always been a crafter. I have craft supplies galore. I love painting, embroidery, cross stitch, sewing. Matter of fact, I do have some sewing projects I want to work on, but I love all of the things. But one of the things that I love about crochet is I can take it anywhere. I can do it anywhere. Now, I do have a little craft desk and a little craft area in here, but I can take it. I can go crochet on my bed. I can go crochet in the living room while me and my husband are watching TV. I was taking my crochet to swim meets. you know, with my son. Like, I have had crochet out at the ballpark before. I can take it anywhere, and I love the versatility of that. So, yeah, I'm going to be sharing the things that I make and documenting it. So, there's actual video footage and photos of the things that I make so I don't just have to go, oh, remember when? Like, why didn't I take pictures? Why didn't I document it? And who knows, you know, somebody might appreciate it. I've noticed, you know, people be like, so what have you been up to? I'm like, oh, you know, I'm really enjoying crocheting. And some people are like, oh, that's cool. And other people, it's like, you get the stank face, like with crickets. Like, which I don't care, because I know that there's a ton of people out there who love crochet. There's a really, really awesome crochet community online, and specifically on YouTube, because I've been watching you guys for years and I just think it's awesome. So here I am showing my face and my stuff that I'm making, and I am joining the fray, the whatever. Yeah, so again, what is this? To crochet. I have more things to share. Until next time.